Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. We're diving into one of the most useful tricks in the game, how to use the seal battle for equipment comparison. This method is especially handy if you're unsure which item to use, and it can really help you optimize your build. But keep in mind, you can only do this once per day, because the seal battle only gives you 2 attempts. Now, technically, the same testing method works with the guild raid too. However, I wouldn't recommend that for testing gear. Why? Because the guild raid boss is a lot more powerful and unpredictable. It can deal way more damage, which makes it harder to get reliable test results. The seal battle, on the other hand, is more consistent, making it perfect for testing. So, what am I testing today? Well, I'm currently playing on my second Capy, and this one is running a lightning build. I'm using the Reaper staff, and I'm trying to figure out which ring works better for this setup. The Judgment ring or the Shadow ring. Sounds simple, right? But let me walk you through how to do this effectively. The first thing you need to understand is that your results will always be influenced by your skill build. The items you use don't work in a vacuum. Your chosen abilities, passive boosts, and weapons all affect how well a certain item performs. For example, in my case, the Judgment ring gets a huge synergy bonus because the Reaper staff gives me plus 35% bolt damage, which directly enhances lightning skills. So naturally, that will give the Judgment ring an edge in my specific setup. But we'll still test to see if that advantage plays out in actual battle performance. Here's how you do it. Equip the first setup you want to test. In my case, that's with the Judgment ring. Go into the seal battle menu. Select all the skills you plan to use. Make sure you don't change these between tests. Start the battle. Now, you can either watch it all the way through or just skip to the end. The result is what matters. At the end of the battle, take note of the total damage output. I like to take a screenshot for easier comparison. Now that you've done that, it's time to switch to your second setup. In my case, I'm replacing the Judgment ring with the Shadow ring. Also, very important, make sure the item is merged and leveled up as much as the other one so that the comparison is fair. Once the new item is equipped, go back into the sealed battle. Again, don't change your skill set. Keep everything the same except for the item you're testing. Start the second fight, skip or watch, and once again note the total damage dealt. Now, compare the two results. In my test, the Judgment ring slightly outperformed the Shadow ring, as expected due to the lightning synergy. But depending on your build, it could be the other way around. Now, is this method 100% accurate? No, of course not. There are always some variables in combat and crits, RNG effects, minor enemy behavior differences, but even with those factors, this gives you a solid baseline to work with, and it's much better than just guessing or relying on item descriptions alone. And here's the best part, this method isn't just for rings. You can use the exact same process to compare almost anything. Weapons, brands, heroes combinations, mounts, artifacts, even pets if those become relevant for you. Just remember, keep your skills consistent, run your 2 tests back to back, and make sure your gear is equally upgraded. This kind of testing becomes especially useful later in the game when your builds are more complex and small stat difference can really matter. You can even do the same test multiple times to reduce the chances that RNG manipulate your result. So go ahead and try it out for yourself. Next time you're wondering whether that new item is actually better than your current one, now you know how to test it properly. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this guide helped you, and leave a comment if you want me to test other strategies. See you in the next video.